The Rare Replay Collection isn't just a collection of ROMs and emulators, it's a love letter to 30 years of Rare gaming history. For only $30 you get access to 30 Rare titles ranging from classics like RC Pro Am 2 and Conker's Bad Fur Day to more modern titles like Viva Pinata and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Right off the bat, $30 for 30 Rare games? That's definitely a must-have, just saying that alone. But Rare put their beautiful game polish on this collection. Right when you boot the game, you're greeted with the theater musical number introducing over 3 decades of Rare history. Press start and you're entered into a theater museum of all the games you have at your gaming disposal, all unlocked right from the get-go for you to play. Now, as I mentioned before, this game isn't just a collection of ROMs, it's actually broken up into 3 parts. You get your game collection of Rare games, and each have different types of options depending on what era the game came out in. Older games that ran at a 4:3 ratio usually allow you to turn on the filter to have a frame around the gameplay and even a CRT-like effect to mimic the nostalgia of you playing the game as a kid. Games that were brought to Xbox Live Arcade run within an Xbox 360 emulator, and it's slightly disappointing. The reason I mention this is because every time you want to play an XBLA title, let's say like Banjo-Kazooie, you have to boot up the 360 emulator and also have to quit the emulator every time you want to go back to the rest of the collection. It just adds on an extra 15 seconds to starting a game and also ending a game. Even when you download the collection, many of the old Xbox Live Arcade titles install as backward compatible titles on your Xbox One. Something else I noticed is that certain 360 games run worse on the Xbox One than they did on the 360. I found this more noticeable in more modern titles like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. There was a very noticeable frame rate drop from time to time. These games are straight ports, so they're not remastered titles or feature online multiplayer of any kind. Sorry Conker fans, you're stuck with local multiplayer. Another thing to mention is that unless the game originally featured remappable controls, then you're stuck with the default control setup. This isn't so much of a bad thing, but it might mean that you have to do some adjusting if you plan on playing any classic Rare shooters. They just play differently than more modern titles do. Along with the collection, you'll get access to the behind the scenes and the making of many Rare games. You can unlock these bonus features by playing through and reaching milestones in your classic Rare games. As you play more games, you'll earn more stamps that'll level up your rank and unlock more bonus content. This is probably one of my favorite sections of the collection because it's so riveting to hear about these game developers talk about old unreleased projects or even the betas of games like Project Dream. The last section of the collection is the Snapshots mode. This sort of acts like a challenge section where you can play bite-sized challenges of your favorite Rare games. It's essentially sort of like NES Remix on the Wii U, but with Rare titles. It's pretty fun to jump into if you don't have a lot of time to play a full game, and you just want to take care of some rants in Battletoads Arcade quickly. Speaking of which, Battletoads Arcade is in this collection, and this is the first time the arcade title has ever been on a console before, so this does make the collection a little bit more special. The Rare Replay collection is fantastic. Sure, I have some nitpicks with it here and there, and I do wish Donkey Kong 64 and Country were in this, but obviously that's never going to happen. But it's definitely something you have to have if you own an Xbox One. You can't pass up 30 awesome Rare games for only $30. Collections like these are quite rare. I had to make that pun sooner or later. Thank you guys very much for watching this review. I hope you guys found it useful or informative, and if you did, please consider dropping a like and sharing it on your social networks as it really helps the channel grow. Thank you all for being some awesome viewers, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.